Very good evening, one and all. Welcome to the Buddhist Maha Vihara's Facebook page. And today we have with us two very distinguished monks from the United States and who are joining us here at the BMV Dhammadinna series where we go live on Facebook. And today we are actually starting a new session on a new format as well. And this tonight's talk is entitled Ask the Meditators Anything. So basically, what we are going to do is we are going to pose some questions, and our two panelists will actually answer these questions live for you here at the Facebook page, live of the Facebook page at the BMV's Facebook page. Sorry. So now let me introduce to you the two monks that we have invited for this evening session. We have Bhante as Dr. S. Premaratana Thera. Bhante Premaratana is a well-known monk, especially on meditation, and he's been to the Buddhist Mahavihara quite a number of times. And also Bhante Kusala, who's based in Detroit in the USA. Welcome, both the Bhantes.
Welcome. Nice to see you, sister, Brother Leslie.
Yes, Bhante, after a long time. Let me quickly read both the Bhante's profiles, and then we can start the session. First, I'll start with Bhante Dr. S. Premaratana. Bhante Premaratana is the chief abbot of the Pittsburgh Buddhist Center in the USA. He holds a bachelor's degree in Buddhist studies from the Weherahena University of Sri Lanka, a master's in philosophy from the National University of Singapore, and has been conferred a PhD from the University of Pittsburgh last year. He also conducts regular workshops on meditation at his center and also at yoga studios in the greater Pittsburgh area in the States. He also provides spiritual counseling to help Americans deal with challenges of modern living. Now we go on to Bhante Kusala. Bhante Kusala was born in Sri Lanka in 1987. He entered monastic life at the age of 16 and received his high ordination in year 2007. He continued to pursue his undergraduate and graduate studies at the University of Weherahena in Sri Lanka and then moved to Italy to study cognitive science and engage in mindful-based research at the University of Trento in Italy. In 2014, he moved to Cambridge, Massachusetts, to pursue a master's in divinity degree from the Harvard University as a Robert H. N. Ho Family Foundation scholar. Bhante Kusala has also served as a translator for many monks in the States, including Bhante Vimla Ramsey, Venerable Sister Kema, Ajahn Brahm Wanso, and Ajahn Brahmali. He has taught and lectured internationally and served as a resident chaplain at the Brigham and Women's Hospital, the second largest teaching hospital of the Harvard Medical School, and also at the Dana Faber Cancer Institute from 2017 to 2018. He was invited to the Great Lakes Buddhist Vihara in 2018 and has been resident there since 2018, where he continues his Dhamma service. Whilst there, now Bhante is now pursuing the second year of his PhD in Pali from the Sri Jayawardhanapura University in Sri Lanka. I would now like to invite both the monks to start this evening session. I will post the questions online on the screen, and we will then let the monks take it from there. Bhantes?
Okay,
Over
welcome.
to you, Bhante.
Yeah, Bhante Kusala, so it's nice to see you also on the screen.
Very nice to see you. So we both share the same space this morning.
Space, yeah. Okay. So first of all, before we start answering the questions, I want to wish you all good health and safe stay. It has been a while, since I was able to talk to you last time. And I hope that everyone is in good health and taking care of yourself. And I wish that may you continue to be safe and may you continue to have a stronger immunity and be safe during this period. And we also take care of ourselves here. We try to stay in the temple without traveling much. And Bhante Kusala, I think you are also try to stay in the temple, right?
We are, Bhante. Of course, this is the time we just need to exercise. For that, we walk in the open, but we try to avoid people contact. So we stay in minimum contact and we come back safely. So the mindfulness has helped in these outings.
And this is also the rainy retreat, Vassana period. And this time it has really a deeper meaning, because anyway we can't travel. Then the observation of the Vassana period during this time is very appropriate thing. So we stay more time for our own contemplative practices and for more studies, more inward time. Okay, so let us start with the first question here. I don't have time for meditation. I'm always either busy with work or family. This is one common question we receive from many beginners in meditation. I think it's a matter of priority and then organizing our life. So when we think about meditation, why we need to meditate, and then if we set our priorities, we will be able to find time. I think if we are really interested in doing something, and if we know how to organize our life, I think we will not say that we don't have time for it. The reason is that we haven't set our priorities. We haven't deeply understand how valuable is the meditation. And the second is that we haven't organized our life or our day well. So Bhante Kusala, I would say that if we really understand the value of meditation, how much freedom, how much peace it will bring to our life, and how much strength it will bring to our life to deal with the normal issues in our life. When you realize that the value of the meditation, the kind of inner strength it brings to us, the inner space it brings to us, and how useful it is to even to deal with our family issues, and you will never miss it. I think so. We need to understand more about the benefits of meditation. Also, as Buddhists, we also have a goal, a more spiritual goal, to transform ourselves. Transform our own ignorance. Transform our craving, and then be liberated. So usually our mind is full of craving, full of confusion. So, do you want to carry the same mind? And don't you want to take some time to transform this following the teachings of the Buddha? All our Buddhist practices, generosity, moral precepts, all things are helping us to transform from craving to letting go, generosity from ignorance to more wisdom. But meditation is the key. So when you understand these values, how it's benefiting to our daily life, and how it helps us to achieve the Buddhist goal of complete freedom, and it's become such an essential thing in our life. So, and then once you understand that, and then you have to be practical. I will suggest you, in your daily routine, try to find a spot in your daily routine that at least to start your meditation. If you don't have time, maybe if you have children, definitely it's going to be challenging. But when you make it a routine, I'm not asking you to fix a specific time, but in the morning routines, like the morning you are doing certain things. So insert your meditation, maybe at least a short period for meditation. So when you combine with your routine, it's going to be easy, or maybe in the evening, even in your lunch break. So think about the time space that you can allocate for meditation. So my suggestion is that understand the value of meditation and set your priority and give some priority to the meditation, and then organize your day. Insert meditation in your daily routine. Bhante Kusala, what is your suggestion?
Thank you, Bhante Pevaratana, for that articulative response. You mentioned about prioritizing meditation.
Yeah.
And also you mentioned about understanding the value of the goal that we set forth in our meditation, which is the goal of attaining Nibbana. Then we organize our schedule accordingly. But also, when this, I think you are familiar with this question coming to you all the time. in your meditation retreats. And what comes to my mind oftentimes is this quote. I say, if you are not a busy person, you should meditate 1 hour a day. If you are a busy person, you must meditate 2 hours a day.
Okay. Why,
And
why, why you need to meditate more if you are a busy person?
exactly. That's an important question to ask. If you are a busy person, you are the person who needs meditation. You are the person who is easily agitated, who needs focus to manage multiple things at a time, and that in this question, family is also mentioned. Giving priority to family is important, but through meditation, you can also change the way you deal with family. If you feel like your actions are compassionate, if you feel like your words are kind, then your meditation is working. So with your family, with your work schedule, with your workmates, you are able to see whether your meditation is actually working. So if you dedicate more time, unlike a busy person, but unlike a not so busy person, they may need less time for meditation. But when you are really busy, super busy, your forgetfulness will increase, your anxiety will increase, your depressive tendencies will increase. All of that comes as a baggage. So then I think, Bante, you would totally join me in that those are the people who would need more time for meditation.
Yeah. And if you don't have much time, maybe at least spend some specific period of the day is going to be helpful. I think you mentioned about family, Bhante. I think we should, if we have small children, I think that's also the best way. I mean, best way would be to join them in your meditation. And meditation can be done as a family practice also. And maybe at least in the beginning, you can ask them to join and then at least teach them how to sit, how you meditate, and then ask them to live and let them know that during meditation, they are not supposed to make sounds. So it's going to be a good education for them. You are exposing your children to meditation at the early age. So I think, they have enough guidelines, right, Bante?
Yeah, let me add one little thing because this helped me shape my life. That at home, my father used to sit and chant and meditate with the family for 1 hour.
Oh.
And we hated it at that time, as children.
So for 1 hour, you have to sit with him.
Once again?
For 1 hour, you have to sit with him.
Right. Even when visitors came, he would not open the door. The visitors then eventually learned that we are doing our chanting and meditation because the door is a little bit, open. So they see what's going on. But my father was so strict, so disciplined that he would not open the door and say hello to them. So they have to wait. They avoided that time when they wanted to come. And now you see, my father is, it has transformed his life. He's a Buddhist monk now. Wow. In the recent past, about 6-7 years ago, he joined a Buddhist monastery. So he lives that kind of life. And he has also changed my life. When I became a monk, my teacher was like, "Oh, you have studied everything. You don't have much to learn." So that came from chanting at home. I knew the words, and I'm grateful for these experiences. Because you mentioned children, I think that's the best place where you can gather them and discipline them and show how to have faith towards the Buddha and make that spiritual connection with them. Very important.
Yeah, thank you, Bante, for sharing your personal experience. Yeah. Okay, let's go for the next question.
The next one is, I can't stop thinking. My mind is all over the place. So this is I think another common question that we both get. Let me add something to it. So maybe you will, or do you want to pick up on it before? It's up to you.
No, you can go ahead. Usually, when we get this question, we say, "Welcome to the club." You know, which
Right.
means that when you realize that your mind is running all over the place, you can't place it in one place. You already started to meditate. That is how you know it. Otherwise, you will have no idea what mind is doing. And this will be the first experience people get when they start to meditate. So it's welcome to the club. So Bante, go ahead.
Absolutely. So I think in the Facebook Live also there's this question: is it true one need to have sila in order to meditate? And prior to so absolutely. When let me combine the two that when like you mentioned the idea of welcome to the club, which means overthinking or thinking is generally present with us in the beginning of the meditation. But when you have done it for a couple of days, you see your thought patterns are less and less strong. And for that, we need to be a little patient. And I think the problem here could be that we expect immediate results. So these expectations contribute to overthinking and more thinking. We expect things because we have heard about good things of meditation, and our desires are working here. Mentally, we imagine that immediately after meditation, we should have this result or that result. We are kind of goal oriented, which is a good thing. But if there's a tension in mind that it should happen immediately, then we need to be a little careful in there. So just let things be, but also your effort, virya. And when your sila is good, less and less thinking will occur because your conduct has been very good, bodily and verbally. So there is less things to worry about. I think that comes with the remedy. The sila, your virtual conduct, the moral conduct, the verbal and physical behavior towards yourself and others will shape up the way your mind works immediately after you sit and focus in meditation. But let the meditation do its work, taking its own time, depending on how your life has been. It takes some amount of time to calm down. It's like when the lake is muddied, it takes its own time to settle. So let that happen, and your restlessness, overthinking will eventually vanish. So over to you, Bante.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad, Bante, you mentioned about preparation for meditation. So I think the people when we miss that part, of course, we will have a difficult time in calming our mind down. I think the question that is still is needed for meditation. Yes, definitely. Particularly the Buddhist meditation is always based on a moral foundation. So what morality is doing for us now, our precepts, we observe what they are doing to us is actually our precepts simplify our life, make our life a very simple, kind life. So when we are following the precepts, our life is uncomplicated. We may not have many issues to handle. So that simplicity can help us to settle our mind very easily. If you are a person who is not following any moral precepts and going around and doing all kind of unwholesome things, and you have so many issues to handle, so there's no way you can settle your mind. So the preparation is very important. Sila is one part, and even in the Buddhist discourses, Buddha even has asked that even to be careful about confrontational discussions, and and because sometimes we enjoy confronting others, but if you are really good meditator, I think you will avoid unnecessary confrontations, because there's no point of arguing against each other. Sometimes the argument only reinforce their own beliefs. So maybe conversation and dialogue is important, but argument is useless. So avoiding confrontational discussions or arguments are also one element of preparation for meditation. So that if the preparation part is done well, we will have less difficult time in meditation.
Absolutely. So it will make your life very easy. In doing the meditation, when we are they say, if you think that you are enlightened, go spend some time with your family. The family is the place where you go and argue, confront, and you have always the winning power if you are the authoritative figure. I think in these experiences, you will see whether, through them, you will see that your meditation has worked. Particularly, you are able to have more control, more discipline, restrainment over your thinking. And that way they can tell from the meditation that it has really worked for you.
So in this question, Bante, they said, I can't stop thinking. I think that very idea of stopping thinking is a little bit problematic, right? And our goal in meditation is not necessarily try to stop thinking, but actually not to contribute to thinking. There's a two different approach here. If you are forcefully trying to stop thinking, that's not going to work, and that's not the healthy approach to meditation. So we are going to watch our mind. Of course, we will choose an object to pay our attention to. So that's where our effort is. We bring our attention to that object, either it is a breath or loving kindness or the qualities of the Buddha. So we have a place to come, place to pay our attention to. And then the thoughts will arise as a neural habit. And then what we are trying to do is not try to suppress it. Like when we say stop thinking, it has that element of suppressing. And we are simply going to notice our thoughts. So when we keep noticing our thoughts without continuing them, and then the tendency to arise thoughts will be reduced. I think we need to get rid of that idea to stop thinking. Rather than stop thinking, we will watch our thoughts and notice our thoughts, and we will not contribute. And naturally, they will die. As Bante mentioned, the meditation does it work.
Well, this reminds me of, because I have been close to Ajahn Brahm and has been his translator, I had to listen to him very carefully, and he mentioned a metaphor that may be useful for everybody. This involves seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, physical sensations, and thinking. He said, look at yourself as an emperor, and you don't know who this emperor is. Your emperor, if you want to see the emperor, you take off layers of the clothes that it has covered itself, like the armors, helmet, face shield, and all of that. So these symbolize different layers, like seeing layer, hearing layer. When you turn off these, signals going to the brain or stimuli taken from the brain, when you have turned off these, your final emperor, which is your mind, will be seen, and that you can deal with easily when 5 other things have been turned off. When you are seeing, you close your eyes, you stop seeing, you close your ears, mentally you stop hearing. So you do that progressively, so you know that you are no longer paying attention to these, and your mind emperor, you can deal with it because the other 5 are no longer your problems, no longer your priorities. And eventually you will see less and less thoughts occurring, and that is because your focus has increased. It could be the breathing or loving kindness meditation, or combination of both, or some other meditation, and you're stopping your controlling nature vanishes, and accepting nature shows up. And I think that's what Bante Premaratana mentioned, that don't feed, just accept it. It's 2 different things. We don't control it, we don't stop it, we let it happen. Thank you, Bante, for that.
When we notice our thoughts loses their power. So that's what we keep noticing, right?
Beautiful.
Yes. Let's go for the next question.
Bante,
It says that I fall asleep.
sorry, Bante, there are some questions being raised by our audience. I will jump a few questions to accommodate them and also the questions that we have so that they're both together in line.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, let me read the question. I feel cramps and pain seeping in whilst meditating. Sometimes I feel cold or even hot sensations. How do I overcome these sensations or irritations? So,
There are two elements to this, right, Bante? So one is the cramp and then physical, cramping and other pains. The second one is about sensation of hot and cold. I think so. Two different situations. Yeah, yeah. Go
there,
ahead.
This is a question,
came.
a question posed by one of our listeners now, Bante.
Okay.
Right. This is also a similar question. Bante, I'm trying to meditate longer, but after 30 minutes, there is numbness in my legs. Does it mean blood circulation problem, lack of concentration? What can I do? How can I improve further? Thank you, Bante. So I think the two questions are very similar rhetoric. So mindfully change your posture, move to walking meditation and have your seating prepared. Perhaps immediately at the end of where you finish your walking meditation, you sit or you begin again the walking meditation. I think these are integral parts of our meditation. Walking and sitting, and also mindfully changing your posture so your meditation is uninterrupted. And even changing your posture is part of your meditation. All the activities are part of your meditation. So why worry that there is a discontinuation? There isn't any. So, Bhante?
Yes, I think many of our physical pains can be avoided if you know how to sit properly. So people need to pay attention to their posture, how they keep their body, what kind of cushion, what kind of height they need to have based on their body structure. I think again it's about preparation. So if you know how to keep your upper body, like keeping the natural shape of the spine and having a good support to your to your buttocks, and that adjusting your posture is very important. Once it may take some time to like come to a nice posture, because our body also needs some adjustment. So meditation is like keeping your body like a mountain. Think about a mountain, like how the mountain is sitting straight, like starting with from the bottom and slowly going up. And that's the kind of nature you need to develop in your body. And it's not unbalanced, it's not more forward, it's not too backward, it's right in the middle. And so, and your legs, your knees are touching the ground if possible. So that having that posture is very important, and then you will have less pain. And then, as Bante mentioned, we need to incorporate, like walking meditation with sitting meditation if you plan to sit longer. I think in that question, the Facebook question, he asked about when after 30 minutes he will get numbness in the leg. And that's also very natural. Um, so I think the problem with the numbness is that again it's the posture, like where you put your buttock, what kind of surface you are sitting on. And many people are afraid. When you get numbness, many people are afraid that it's related to blood circulation. I think it's a misconception. Is numbness is not related to blood circulation. It's only a pinch of a nerve. And if you can tilt your back a little bit, you will see the numbness can be gone. So sometimes, let's say, if the numbness, if you really want to meditate more than 30 minutes, if the numbness comes and if it's not painful, let it be there. It's not going to be harmful. And occasionally, I myself experience numbness when I sit for longer sessions. And sometimes it's just the numbness. It's not really painful. I just let it sleep. I let the leg sleep, and I continue to meditate. And of course, before I stand up, I make sure that I stretch my leg. Otherwise, I will fall down. But I think so. We need to understand this as a nerve pinch, but the nerve pinch comes not in your lower legs, but it start with your butt. So you have to adjust your butt and try to find nice way to sit, and then you can avoid that. Anything to add, Bante?
Bante, thank you for that. I also myself just learned a new thing from you, that I often used to think that it is when the blood circulation stops that the legs fall asleep. But as you say, it's a new learning that it's just a little nerve.
No,
Uh,
it's about nerves, it's not about blood.
Okay, thank you for that. I appreciate that. When I begin meditation with with a group or alone, I do a body scanning from head to toes, and in that body scanning, I oftentimes move away from agitations, because focusing on agitations and painful areas would contribute to recurring thoughts and painful experiences in meditation. So instead, I focus on grounding myself and being rooted to the ground, going deeper. So with my meditation, I can stay longer because I have been kind to and I have been gentle with my body. And it has been very effective. And my meditations have increased from 30-minute sittings to 1 hour or longer sittings, and which I have been able to do almost daily now. And I think with that experience sharing, I encourage you to consider doing a body scanning, relaxing your muscles, but don't just let it be wobbly. Like, just keep it straight, keep it in a straight line, being mindful of the posture, and letting the body pick up, the rhythm of your meditation. But when a pain occurs, and if it is unavoidable, feel free to give the freedom. You are not in a prison. You are not jailed. Give the freedom to adjust. Give the freedom to change the posture mindfully, and come back to your meditation. Come back to your breathing. It will be there for you anytime when you come back. So I think that is a middle path way of doing meditation.
Yeah,
The
in the question they
uh,
also mention about sensations and irritations, right, Bante? I think even sensation irritations, whatever, whenever they are occurring, sometimes because people can feel the body heat and other different sensations in meditation. As Bante mentioned, one best way to deal with them is not to reject them, not to and then simply develop that receptive mind and use those sensations also as a way to keep yourself here and simply observe them. And as Bante mentioned, you can also be kind to our body. So once you observe that, let's say uncomfortable sensations, you accept it, you embrace it, you feel it, and then you can make a wish for this sensation to subside. And yeah, so we should not develop the resentment or idea of aversion to those sensations, right, Bante? Even they are not
the
comfortable.
aversion towards those sensations will increase our agitations, and we may fail in meditation. So, and this is why Ajahn Braham sometimes says, this is not anapan sati, this is anapana sati. Pain, that mindfulness in pain has not brought anybody anywhere. So let's be careful in that direction. I think a question showed up, which disappeared. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I think Bante can read it and go from there.
How and what progress we should look for in meditation, from basic to intermediate and so on. How and what progress we should look for in meditation. Okay, thank you for that question, Cindy. So we can, as we started in the beginning, as we said in the beginning, we can have short-term goals, maybe the goals within our daily life, and then our mundane life, and we can also have goals for us. We can also have spiritual goals. And mainly, this is about training the mind. This is about the training the mind, because our mind has been trained, all over our life without our knowing. It has been trained some way. Most of the times unconsciously. So therefore, we have certain habits, we have certain patterns of reacting to situations. So the main goal of meditation is to simply to learn to watch our mind, to watch our mind. First, like being able to watch our mind and being able to see when these urges are arising, when these
Looks like there's a interruption. Okay, Bhante came back.
So, it first is to get to know about our mind, because most of the time we don't pay attention to our mind. So it's to get to know the mind. That means to understand the patterns, understand the habitual tendencies that we have, taught to ourselves, unconsciously over the years. And then once you get to know these things, you realize it and you accept it, and then we can gradually start to shape them, gradually start to like reduce, not feed whatever unwholesome patterns. Let's say you have a habit of like arguing against someone all the time, like not waiting to hear, but you want to like argue against and if you have that kind of tendency, that's one example. You can simply watch and then understand that I have this tendency and be careful next time when you talk to others. And then gradually you can train your mind, like shape those tendencies with loving kindness meditation, with development of more mindfulness. We can train ourselves not to feed those patterns. When you don't feed those patterns, they will subside. And eventually we will free our mind. We will free our mind from all these habitual negative patterns. So in the important book on meditation called Heart of Buddhist Meditation, written by Venerable Jnana Konika, and he said that there are three goals for meditation. One is to know the mind. That means to be familiar with your mind, be familiar with the patterns and habitual tendencies, and then to shape the mind. Once you realize you can shape it, and then ultimately to free the mind. And freeing the mind is what we aim in the spiritual realm. So completely free our mind from mental defilements. So the first two goals are related to our daily life also. The last goal is related to our spiritual life. So that's the kind of direction that we should follow in the progress in meditation. Bante, do you want to add anything there?
Thank you, Bhante, for that. So I think Bhante has mentioned the entire path in your brief response. I think because there's a question about how to meditate, perhaps the beginner's level is learning how to meditate. If you were to take people of that type into this question, just for them, the first goal is to learn how to meditate. The second goal is to advance it, and the third goal is to end it. But ordinarily, it's a thing that lives with us until we attain nibbana. Meditation it's a continuous process. It is seen through everyday life. I think the intermediate level is a level that you find in retreat centers, that, if they say if you have done 3 months retreat, you qualify to attend our intermediate level. So I think that's one place where they get these ideas that we have an intermediate level. But I can easily say that we don't have those levels necessarily. We know that it's those levels that are shown in organized retreat centers. It's for their convenience. They use that. In meditation, you may get the results within 7 days of time. As when you read the Satipatthana Sutra, perhaps you may even reach the final goal within 7 days to 7 months' time. But when you see that there is progress within yourself, in your daily activities, in your daily way of being, and that you don't get angry and people say that, oh, you have changed, oh, your way of dealing with others has changed. This is when you know that some level has been achieved. But why bother? You were not expecting to reach some level. You were not expecting that. You were just letting things be and keeping your stamina going and keeping your virya going, effort going. And there, I think the goals have not been the focus. But it's okay to set goals that I'm an intermediate meditator, I'm an advanced meditator, I'm a beginner, and I know how to meditate. So, but the basic idea of how to meditate, let me come back to it. So this is a learning process. Listen to different teachers and pick up the object of meditation. And the easiest one is your breath. You sit comfortably, relax your body, and close your eyes. Your body is now composed, and you begin observing your breath mindfully. And that's the first level. And then go to the next level, observing long breath or short breath. And then go to the third level, feeling the sensations of the body as you breathe in and breathe out. And then you go to the fourth level, which is tranquilizing the bodily formations, meaning you experience the tranquility in the body through the mind as you meditate, and go beyond. So these stages take little time, and perhaps you can use a guided meditation from YouTube, from one of us, or from whatever is most viewed in YouTube. And those have instructions, and they will hold you for 15 minutes until you are settled. So these are ways that I can share with you all about ways to meditate and how you look at these goals of meditation. Any more questions?
In meditation, we hope to develop wholesome mind. What else do we hope to achieve in meditation? I think again, it's related to the previous question. Definitely, I think we can aim to develop a wholesome mind, and if you want to add anything, that will be your awareness, your understanding, your wisdom. So, mainly in meditation, we are transforming our normal habitual mind into a more wholesome mind, and also a mind that knows clearly. So, the wisdom and compassion, or maybe calmness and insight. And so, these are the two elements that we need to develop in parallel. So, other than the wholesomeness, what we need to develop is our ability to know, ability to investigate, ability to see through, and what we call insight. So, meditation is not only simply, being at peace during the meditation. It's also about developing our penetrative wisdom to see the true nature of our mind, true nature of our body, and true nature of our experience, and see the impermanence and flowing nature of our experience. And then that insight is the one that will transform our defilements, that will change our defilements. So definitely the wholesome mind can be a goal, but that wholesomeness can achieve through wisdom. So we need to pay attention to both elements there. Yes, Bante?
Thank you, Bante, for that wholesome mind. Because my name is Kusala. Kusala also means wholesome. So the
Right? So do you prefer to be skillful or to be wholesome?
skillful, I kind of put it aside. But
Bante, yeah, it's a very important point you brought. I think the term kusala, your name, the kusala was used in pre-Buddhist period to mean the skill of any profession. So if someone is profession is very good at doing certain profession, it's called kusala. And it is the Buddha who actually employed this term, which has a technical meaning, like you are good at, you are expert, you are skilled in this profession. So Buddha use it in the moral context, and then give an idea that if you can, your ability to manage your mind, your ability to manage your behavior, if you are good at that, you can be called kusala. So go ahead, Bante. So that is why we can have both skillful and wholesome. The original meaning is skillful, and then Buddha used it to refer to our mind and our behavior, and it became wholesome later. Yes. Go ahead.
Let me bring one of the experiences I had when I met with my advisor, Professor Charles Halise. We met Bhikkhu Bodhi at the School of Divinity at Harvard.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to introduce each one of us. And I said my full name. I said, my name is Kusala Jnana. I don't know about Jnana, but I prefer to go with Kusala. And Bhikkhu Bodhi immediately said, Kusala alone is enough. So, and we all laughed at it. So, because Jnana, you can say that, that's about knowledge. But
So we have both, like wholesome and the knowledge.
Well, perhaps it is the knowledge in the wholesome. And I think you mentioned very well earlier about the wholesome goals. Well, if you say, I'm not going to go into details here, but wholesome goals could be your 7 factors of awakening. In starting from mindfulness factor of awakening, and ending with equanimity as a factor of awakening, upekha. And in it you find the 4 jhanas, and when you see, you have the knowledge, Sutavarya Savako, you are a noble disciple who has heard these teachings, and that you trust in the techniques, and that you also trust in the goals. You know that these will produce these kind of results. Knowing the map, knowing where you are headed, you are not lost in the path that you have. This is like Google Maps directing you from Southfield, Michigan to Pittsburgh, where Bante lives. It takes you accurately to that place, and it has a timing indicated. And we know that we will reach that goal at that certain time. So it's just like that. 7 factors of awakening, culminating with samadhis. When you see some factors present in you, your kusala, your skills in meditation has developed. Your wholesome factors have been developed. And you just need to hold it gently and take it further in your walking of the journey. And that's a happy journey. So that is known through your own experiences and your own living this life. I think that adds to the question a little bit more.
Okay, let's go for the next one. I have read articles on the harmful effects of meditation. Is there any truth to this? Okay. Miss, our sister Pamela. Yes, I think I have also seen some articles mentioning about this, but I don't believe that in meditation itself can be harmful in any way. But maybe doing meditation without a guidance and doing some other thing in the name of meditation can be really harmful. I think that is why, as Bante mentioned, first we need to have a better understanding of the Dhamma, better understanding of the teachings of the Buddha. Why we are doing this meditation? Meditation is a very important part of a larger practice. So the Noble Eightfold Path, or we can call it starting with generosity and moral precepts, and then meditation. So we need to understand the whole program. And once we have that basic idea that where this meditation is fitting and what kind of part that I'm doing through meditation and what are the other practices I need to do. So when you have that basic map and basic idea and orientation, and there's no opportunity for us to for the meditation to be harmful. And so that's why we need some guidance. That's why we need a communal support, support from our spiritual friends. So if you do meditation as a longly practice. As an individual practice, that's a danger because we may be doing so many other things in the name of meditation. And also, I want to add that if we have preconditions for certain mental disorders, we can have certain tendencies, either genetic tendencies, or maybe we have some mild form of depression or some other kind of mental disorders. If you have those preconditions and then you start to meditate without any guidance, and definitely what we are doing in the name of meditation can really increase your depression or whatever other mental disorders. So it's not really meditation is harmful. It's about doing meditation without proper guidance and doing meditation without with the preconditions of mental disorders can enhance those disorders without proper guidance. So I don't think that we should have that idea that meditation is harmful. Anyway, this is simply training of the mind. So people have mystified meditation. They think that you are supposed to touch some extraordinary reality in the meditation, all kind of thing. You're supposed to communicate with other beings in meditation. That's not really the Buddhist meditation. This is very practical. It's a training of the mind. So Bhante Kusala, do you find meditation can meditation be harmful in your opinion?
Absolutely not. Thank you, Bhante, for enlightening on that. I have read somewhere that I've also seen these meditations, mindfulness, for example, has been overly discussed and it has been taken out of Buddhism, and people market it in different ways. And others who feel threatened about this tendency would write against it. And I think when you read these articles, you can find if you are a person who has been in the area, in the field for some time, that there is some place where they have taken it wrongly, like catching the snake from the tail, which can be harmful to you. And I read somewhere also that anything which is taken excessively can be poisonous, but not meditation. Anything that is...
Even you take meditation excessively, it will not be poisonous?
No. Absolutely. Your whole life can be meditation. And I totally disagree with anybody saying that meditation done overly is harmful. But be careful here that, if you are dealing with anxiety, for example, you are not going to focus on that. If you do focus on that, there is more anxiety coming. And if you focus on your depression, there is more depressive thoughts coming. So the Buddha has given the remedy for that. Atitam nanusochanti, not to worry about anything that happened in the past. Nappajapanti nagata, not to worry about anything that may occur in the future. Let the future be. Pachuppanene apenti, stay present with what is now. Tena vanno pasedati. By that you become beautiful. So something that happened in the past, that is depression. Something that is yet to come, that is anxiety. Something yet to come. But staying in the present, not the moment, but because the moment you try to catch the moment may be gone. So you stay present. Pachuppanna is not the moment, it is the present time.
What has was right there, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. What has come to us? What is your present experience? Is it spacing of the mind? Then you stay present with that and you see, okay, you noticed it. So what? And you come back to the object of meditation peacefully and you develop your mind from that place onwards, making peace with it. So that's how meditation works. And I don't see anything going wrong when you do it the correct way. But the problem is this: people buy electronics from the store without reading the manual. They just plug it to electricity, bam, it's gone. And then you read the manual. What's the use? Yeah. Read the manual first. Then you know how to put the pieces together and make it work.
So what do you mean by manual, Bhante? Can you explain?
Manual here is the Satipatthana Sutra, oftentimes, or the sutras, or the monks are living manuals. They have monks are living libraries also sometimes, and it says in the instructions, even the Buddha says, it's evam bhaveya. If you do it this way, not any other way, that the given results will be produced. The problem is people do it their own ways, then the given results are not produced. So
Very, very well said, Bhante. Okay, let's go for the next one. Bhante, can you read that?
of course, sometimes I see bright lights and colors, sometimes nothing. Is this a good thing in meditation? Well, this is also a common question that comes. Seeing colors in some traditions is healing. Seeing colors in other traditions is progress in meditation. And seeing colors in anybody's experience in meditation, these are different perceptions. But have we done our meditation sittings to see colors? You can see bright, vivid colors out in the open if you keep your eyes open. So now that these colors, these patterns have emerged, these are perceptions. And because these are perceptions, sometimes these come in the very beginning of meditation or towards your advancement, intermediate sort of experiences of meditation. In any of these experiences, if these colors don't mean anything to you, let them be. Let the colors disappear and come back to your object of meditation, your breathing, and stay mindful with it, and the colors will subside. So I would say that when you see the colors, you are seeing it, you are being aware of it. That is already some progress of your meditation because you catch it, you are aware of it. And to progress, to go beyond, you don't stop there. This is so next time you can program your mind. It is like when you go in the forest, you see something that you need to avoid, like a snake. You don't step on it. You take a different route and walk the journey. Just like that, when you program your mind, you tell your mind next time that when you see the colors that may be distracting you, you will avoid that and go to the next level by coming back to your home, which is your breathing. And that way you can avoid falling into it. But don't see these as dangerous places to be or any weaknesses. They are natural. Again, I would say welcome to the club. I have seen colors in earlier in meditations, and Bhante may have had a different experience. And when seeing these, I would oftentimes think that, wow, I have come to some place. But again, only after letting go of that experience, I was able to progress in my meditation. So I stopped looking forward to the colors, so I can avoid that and come back to my object of meditation and continue the practice. Over to you, Bhante.
Yes, Bhante, when our mind is like adjusting to the calmness and it's kind of slowly, moving from, sense, because we used to get sensory stimulation all the time. So in meditation, we try to calm our senses and, try to go to a deeper level of calmness. In that adjustment period, we may encounter different colors, right? So I think as Bhante mentioned, if we get excited on these colors and then try to interpret those colors, and then we are missing the point. We just simply have to experience them, observe them, and don't be excited or even be afraid of them. But simply see them, and then. But we have a object of meditation, as Mantra mentioned. We don't sit to see colors. We sit to pay our attention to the chosen meditation object. So we keep focusing on that, and we will pass that pace, and then we will have more deeper uh, experience of calmness and relaxation after that, right, Mantra? So I
So
think you just have to pass through that.
But do you see colors in meditation?
That's something. But so when people start to talk about colors, I had this real personal problem for myself, because when I sit for meditation, even longer sessions, I haven't seen colors. So I thought to myself that am I meditating wrongly because I don't see colors. But I think that has been a blessing for me, because I don't have to deal with that. So I haven't seen colors then.
Thank you for that. It's awesome. I think our eyes get exposed to the sun, and
Yeah,
yes.
we have taken about an hour. Do you have any more time to spare? Like that, we can have one more last question.
Yes, maybe one more question. Then yeah, brother, yes, one more question, brother.
I see. Yeah, someone suggesting maybe next event could be on Satipatthana Sutta. I would love that. Right. There's
Yeah,
a question on the screen.
you did a new translation on this, right?
I did. So it's on Amazon. If anybody wants to find out, if not, you can also contact me. I can share with you a free copy of it. So now, this question is, Bhante, during Buddha's time, it seems that people can attain stream entry easily, but not so easily in today's time. Just curious, kindly enlighten us on this topic. Thank you. So in Buddha's time, the talks were not focused on 1 hour or 2 hours. Talks were focused on until you are enlightened. I think there you get the answer. So the Buddha would talk specifically to that person until they get it, and there you have the extreme winning experience. People's wisdom is now buried with a lot of structures, times, and materialistic things, mobile devices, and lots of social media involvements, lots of distractions. But those days, they were 100% focused on what the Buddha was teaching, and there was a spiritual revolution at that time, and people were seeking just that.
He was supporting that kind of transformation.
Absolutely. And because of that, more people attained stream entry easily. Don't be discouraged that there could be people who are in these levels around you, and just continue listening to Dhamma. And with your own knowledge of Dhamma, nobody would come and say, I'm a stream enterer, I'm an anagami, or so on and so forth. The moment they say that, they fail in it. I think that's how the tradition holds it. So, and also nobody should say that anyway, because if you say you are an arahant, you will have to live the rest of your life defending that. That's the trouble, and it's best, you follow the Buddha's instructions, that you know a person by constant, like living with them for a long time, vighen aduna, that you know their patience, that you know their wisdom, that you know their sila. So trust in that, that you know your powers also through long time association. So if you know nowadays that the Dhamma is available for you, you do your thing. Let others be, and by your own example, you will encourage others. But that can happen later if you have your goal set. Be straightforward. I think nobody can stop you.
Yes, Bhante, definitely. And I think we need to understand that stream entry is more like a cognitive shift. So we look at ourselves as an agent, all the time we look at everything from our self perspective. So what is happening in the stream entry is that you deeply understand that this, whatever here is an organism, and then all these, different processes working together and creating this, organism, and then we insert what we call I there. So cognitively, I mean, in the view, you change that understanding. They have a different, you different understanding of the what is happening here, and then understanding what we call I and me and myself is a combination of number of processes working together. I think as Bante mentioned, there are four factors that will lead us to extreme entry. I think Bante mentioned that. That means like you keep on associating people who are practicing the Dhamma, the associating teachers, and then listening to the Dhamma and more and reading these days. You can keep reading. And then, of course, third one is very important, reflecting on what we learned, reflecting in a systematic way, reflecting on the teachings of the Buddha and comparing the teachings of the Buddha with your own experience and try to see how much teachings you can understand with your own experience. And when we experience craving and use the teachings of the Buddha to understand the very nature of the craving, that self-reflection. And the fourth one is the practicing of Sila and all the Noble Eightfold Path. So if you keep practicing these four things, associating with spiritual friends and teachers, listening to the Dhamma and reflecting on the teachings of the Buddha, comparing with your life, and then practicing the Noble Eightfold Path, which means the Sila and other practices. And then those are the condition that will bring you to the stream entry. Once you are in the stream entry, you have perfect, you establish yourself in the right view. There's no way that someone will come and say something else and you'll doubt about it. You have kind of a glimpse. You have a glimpse of the teachings of the Buddha, and you have unshaken faith in the Buddha, his teachings, and the other enlightened nuns, and disciples, and then your morality, your seal has been established, and it's become a natural nature of your life. So those are the characteristic of a person who has extreme interest. So it's, as Bante mentioned, and we shouldn't be discouraged. Of course, our society, our social environment, our physical environment is not supporting environment to achieve such a spiritual transformation. But there are people who have a strong virya, and of course some samsaric preconditions. So they have gone there, and even some even have passed that. So if you are if you and you keep associating, and keep looking for them and associating them, and there are enough people around the world who has experienced those stages.
Absolutely. Beautiful. I think Mr. Leslie wants to stop now.
Yeah, thank you, Bante. I think that was excellent sharing this evening. I think we have almost 90 people who are with us live, listening to you. One of the biggest numbers we have had so far after a long time. As you know, Bante, I have mentioned to you today's Dhamma sharing was actually sponsored by two people. It's Sister Rupa Piyadasa and Sister Suzy Ng. And Sister Rupa would actually like to dedicate this sharing with some of the previous monks who had served the Buddhist Mahavihara over the last few years, especially the last 50 years or so. And she would like them to be mentioned while we do the Anumodana. So, Bante, if you could kindly mention those monks, I'll put the names on the screen, and maybe you can just mention them later while we do the Anumodana. So, I think we've come to the end of this evening sharing. So, we'll end with the Anumodana, and then I'll come back again.
Okay, yes, let us Bante dedicate the merits, because we have been doing this discussion, and people have joined us, and they have concentrated on the teachings of the Buddha, and it is also a meritorious practice. So it's a time that we can dedicate the merit. So we are very grateful for the sponsors for this session, and Sister Rupa, and then also Sister Susi Ng. And I'm so glad that both of you sponsored this, and then let us now dedicate these merits to them, right? Bante, can you read the names of our luminary monks who served in the Buddhist Mahavihara previously?
Right. the Venerable Chief Dr. K. Sri Dhammananda Nayaka Thera and Venerable Wattala Seelaratana Nayaka Maha Thera, Venerable Dr. T. Sangharatana Nayaka Maha Thera, and the Venerable monks. I see only 3 on the screen. I'm sure there have been many other monks in the past, and it's through them.
There should be more names there.
Right. It is from them that we shaped our lives.
And also, recently we also lost our most esteemed teacher, Bante Punnaji, Dr.
Bhante
Bante
Punnaji as well. Right.
So,
I see more names coming up. Venerable Dr. Punnaji Mahathera and Venerable Phra Baddhika and Dr. K. Dhammadinna Thera. So all Dhammadinna Thera. May all these venerable monks, wherever they are, may they be happy until they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. With these goals and also transferring merits to your departed relatives and Bhante Pemaratanas as well. Please join your palms together and Bhante will lead us in the merits transformation.
Yes, Bhante, those teachers would be very happy that we are still practicing the Dhamma, we are still listening to the Dhamma.
Right.
So let us dedicate our merits to them as a gift of gratitude. So Bhante, let's first start to share our merits with those teachers. So instead of saying Jnatina, let us say Garuna.
Right.
Okay, so idang me Garunang hotu, Sukita hotu, no Garu. So let us first dedicate our merits to all of our previous teachers, all the previous monks who served in the Buddhist Mahavihara and Malaysia and in other parts of the world. May they give in this merits. Idang me Garuno hotu, Sukita hontu no Garu. Idang mi Garuno hotu, Sukita hontu no Garu. Idang mi Garuno hotu, Sukita hontu no Garu. Let us also share these merits with all our departed relatives, and may all of them, all our ancestors and the family members who helped us so much, who are no more with us today, may they also share these merits, may they benefit from these merits, may they also have a spiritual progress. Idang mi jnatinam hotu, Sukhita hontu jnatayo. Idang mi jnatinam hotu, Sukhita hontu jnatayo. Idang mi jnatinam hotu, Sukhita hontu jnatayo. Let us also share these merits with all other living beings. If there's any being in this world who would like to share this merit, may he or she do so. May all living beings share our merits. May all living beings be well, happy, and peaceful.
Sadhu.
So Bhante, maybe we will chant a very short words of blessings to all our listeners. Right?
Sure.
So I'm very grateful for our sister Rupa Priyadasa, and I really want to wish her good health. I know that she's not having good health recently, so we will focus our mind on Sister Rupa and wishing her good health. And also, I want also to wish good health progress to Sister Susie In and her family, and may all of your family members also Natalie and Sian, and may all of them receive these blessings, and may all of our listeners, going from all over the place. Bhante and myself are going to do a very short chanting for you. May you all receive these blessings of loving kindness. May you be safe from every way. May you have a stronger immunity. May you have spiritual progress in your life. May you be well, happy, and peace. Sabbhityo vivajjantu sabbara Mate bhavatvam Sukhi It was nice to have a conversation with you, Bante Kusala.
Likewise, Bante. Wonderful. I really enjoyed it.
Okay, brother, sister. Brother, Leslie.
Thank you, Bante.
Welcome.
Yeah, I think it was quite nice to have two monks on the screen simultaneously and also having a good banter. I also noticed there's a lot of comments about your camaraderie because you know each other very well, and I think it went off very well that both of you are with us this evening. So before we end, I would like to take this opportunity to thank both the monks for taking time off, and on behalf of the Committee of Management and also the members of the Maha Sangha of the Buddhist Mahavihara. Thank you, Bantes. I know you are rushed to go off. I think you have another appointment after this. Thank you for obliging to be with us. To our sponsors, Sister Rupa and Sister Susie, and to all of you who had been following this evening. Thank you very much for joining us. And also, just a quick reminder, this Sunday on the 13th of September, we have Bante M. Tandima Thera from the USA, who's going to start a new series before us on the 5 hindrances. He will start on Kama Chanda, the sensory desire, and we will follow up with the other 4 hindrances the following weeks. So please do join us this Sunday. And before we end, have a pleasant evening and a good night. And a good day to you too, Bates.
Yeah, Sukhi.
Sukhi.